So welcome back to another session. This is our second lesson in economics. And just to catch up with what we did last time, we mentioned that this course of economics is divided into two areas. That is microeconomics, economics of a single entity, individual or a business enterprise. And we have the macroeconomy. This is the economics of an expanded entity like a country, a region, or even a continent. Now, we are going to continue from there and look at the core concept in economics. And we see that there are basically three methodologies of economics. One is called the scientific method. Under this methodology, we say that economics uses observation, hypothetical formulae, and empirical testing. This is economics based on scientific research. When you are doing a research, of course, there will be observation, hypothesis, and literature review, among others. Therefore, scientific method of economics involve economics by use of observation. Then we have empirism, and this is testing hypotheses against the real world data. That means you have an hypothesis or an assumption, then you test it with the real value. Like Kenya GDP has grown by 5%. That is an assumption. Then you go to the real citizen and test, have they felt the economic growth? Then we have ceteris paribus. This is just a Latin word which means which isolate variables in economic analysis, meaning that if all things are equal or in all things are kept constant, yeah. In this case, like when we want to analyze economic growth within a region, we assume that each and every person is accessible to employment. Then in this case, you can say that they have purchasing power. Purchasing power is brought by the fact that they are able to have a source of income. So keeping everything constant, then you can make an economics observation. So those are the methodologies when you come to economics. Now, how do we analyze economics? Economic analysis can be in two ways. One, we have the positive economics, and the second one, we have the normative economics. By positive economics is the objectives are fact-based analysis, like what is or what will happen. Yeah, like how does employment affect inflation? How does unemployment affect inflation? Or how does the change in political environment affect employment? Yeah, so basically when we're talking about positive economics, we are comparing or searching data based on the real life situations. Yeah, but normative economics, it is value-based judgment. It is subjective. What could have happened or what ought to be, it is subjective. Like, should taxes be increased or reduce inequality? Should taxes be increased to reduce inequality? So that is normative. It is subjective. Positive economics, it is objective. That means there is a particular sense of objectives to be achieved. But when you come to normative economics, then you are talking about it is judgmental. Yeah, what ought to be, what can happen, yeah, in case such variables are changed. So basically, when you analyzing economics, we normally use two economic analysis items. Now, when you talk of there is economic growth, the country has gained economic value. So, what factors do you consider, or what are the economic goals? Yeah, in a microeconomic setup and in a micro as well. One, control inflation. When there is economic growth, means the people have purchasing power. People are able, the circulation of money is under control. People can be able to buy goods which are within them, or which are within their ability. So when economic goals here is to control inflation. Similarly, economic goals is also to reduce the level of unemployment. When a country is growing economically, then larger population of this country or citizens are able to get a job, or they're able to do something for a source of income, which increases the purchasing power of the citizen, and consequently a country is able to be productive, such that the raw materials or the products are able to get buyers. We also have promotion of economic growth. That means when you have one of the economic goals is to ensure that a country or an individual is economically empowered. Favorable balance of payment. When you come to balance of payment, we are talking about the exchange or the flow of currency from one country to another. That means you can find in a situation where a country is only importing goods, then there will be imbalance of payment because they're only exporting their currency, but they're not importing foreign currency. In this case, we are saying, like, if a country like Kenya is only importing, means it is demanding more of the foreign currency than those countries are able to demand their currency. So we are talking about the balance of payment. Redistribution of income. This is an economic and also a political goal that politicians aim at ensuring that resources are distributed equally. That's why we have the establishment of things like NGCDF. Let's now focus and ask ourselves, what are some of the fundamental concepts in economics? One of the things that is very popular when you come to economics is scarcity. An economic item should be scarce. Economic item means it has value. Otherwise, if it is not scarce, it means it will not be economical. Like, you cannot, items like free air, which everyone is able to access, then you cannot say that air is economical. Yeah. So when you're talking about an economic item, it should be scarce. And this scarcity, we are referring to resources are limited relative to human wants. That means human needs, all goods are considered scarce in economics because human needs are insatiable. You will find that there are no particular instances where an human want will be satisfied. Once you satisfy one item, you proceed to the next. So that means when the concept here is that an economic item should be scarce, and scarcity we're talking about limited in relative to human wants. Something else is called choice and opportunity cost. Of course, scarcity will bring choices. When item is scarce, you choose the one that meets which satisfies your need. Like, you need to travel, and you also need to eat. If the amount of money that you're going to use as transport is the same amount of money that you need to eat, you must make choices. Either you eat and walk on foot, or you commute and stay hungry. So choices is when now you choose one. Now, opportunity cost, which now means the value of best or alternative foregone, means in these two scenarios, if you decide to commute, then the cost the cost of going hungry, is the cost that you have foregone so that you can commute. If you decide to walk, the cost of commuting is the one that you have foregone so that you can eat. So basically now the choice or the best alternative that you choose that satisfy your need, then that is called the opportunity cost. Now, production possibility frontier, here we say that this shows trade-off between two goods. Yeah. Now, opportunity cost will come in with PPF, because if a country is in a place of war, it therefore means it will buy more guns than food. Yeah. So there will be a trade-off between food and guns. Yeah. Then when you plot a graph of purchases of food and gun, it will give you an exponential curve. And the points on the curve is equals to efficient use of resources. That means along that point where you plot a graph of demand for guns against demand for food, then the points that lies on the curve, they are efficient use of resources. But if the points are inside, then it is inefficient. And if the points are outside, then it is unattainable without growth. Therefore, we can say that production possibility frontier goes hand in hand with opportunity cost. What do you prefer in substitute of the other? So curves shift outwards with more resources or better technology. Now, moving forward, we're asking ourselves, what are economic systems? You have ever heard that we are in a free market, or we are in, this is a willing buyer, willing seller. So this constitute what we call economic systems. One, the free market economy, decisions made are individual and made by individual and firms. An individual go to a free market and you are told, this is how much I'm selling my item. So it's us to agree whether you have the money and I'm ready to give you my commodity. So that is a free market economy. Features means is a private ownership, consumer sovereignty, competition, price mechanism. So in a free market economy, it is a willing buyer, a willing seller. I tell you, I'm selling this item at this much. You are able to buy it at that much until we agree. Then that is called a free market economy. The major advantage is that it provides incentive, choice, efficiency, and flexibility. You can choose, I want this or I don't want. Yeah. Disadvantage is that the market failures, externality, and a provision of public goods. One, you might find in a free market, then the supply of goods may be limited. Alternatively, there may be interruption from external parties. Like the government can decide to close a market, the government can decide to increase taxes, which reduces the purchasing power. Then there is a planned economy. And a planned economy, the government takes a bigger role. Government makes all decisions for economic value. And the advantage is this, that there is full employment, public good provisions, and equitable resources. Government come in to control a planned economy. Whatever happens or whatever price is like the purchases of fuel. The purchase of fuel is within a planned economy. Government set up prices such that you cannot escalate or lower the prices based on your interest. So one of the disadvantages is that it lacks incentives, inefficiency, limited consumer choice, and bureaucracy. If the government control the prices of fuel within a country, It does not matter which petrol station you go to. They all have to sell prices at the same, fuel at the same prices. In a mixed economy, combines the two. It combines the market and plan economy. Government provide essential services and regulate private sectors. The example is the bank. Some of the banks are within the mixed economy. There are those which are privately owned and there are those which are publicly owned. So they operate under a mixed economy. Now, before I proceed, if there's any question, kindly place it on the chat so that I can be able to respond in due course. Any question? Good. If there is no question, we talk about specialization and exchange. When you're talking about specialization, is the ability to do one single item efficiently. If a worker specializes in a particular item, like a surgeon specialization in human operation. So when you take a surgeon into the field of medicine, he is not, that is specialization. So in this case, you're talking about workers specializing in specific task. And advantage of this is that you bring up skilled development, time saving, efficient use of machinery. And the disadvantage is that it's monotony. When you keep doing the same thing all the time, then it becomes monotonous. Job insecurity, interdependence, loss of craftsmanship, etc. Exchange, this is supply of goods are traded. When you buy things from one country to another, there is exchange. It's exchange rate. Yeah. So there before we used to have barter trade, but now people exchange in form of money. Things have developed. And we are even moving to cryptocurrency, where the trade is between virtual currency that you cannot hold physically, but they exist. Now, major rationality in economics is that it assumes individual act rationally to maximize satisfaction or profit. I hope we are together at that point. If there's an issue, kindly share. Now, the reason why economics is taught in CPA, there is a huge relationship between economics and accountants. And we are seeing accountants need economics to do what? One, to understand resource allocation, analyze economic constraints and opportunities, provide relevant financial information for decision making, relate effectively with other professionals. So this is just an overview, reasons why accountants need to learn economics. Now, having mentioned all this, we now ask ourselves, what have we gone through today? In summary, we are saying that we have discussed about scarcity and choice, and we are saying that scarcity means limited resources. Choice involves selecting which one to satisfy due to scarcity. Scarcity go hand in hand. Resources are limited, then you have to make a choice. What satisfies your want at that particular time? Opportunity cost, the value of the next best alternative forgone when choice is made. You have made these choices. Opportunity cost is what is the cost that you have forgone so that you can make the decision that you end up taking. Production possibility float here, I've said that this one is brought in by the fact that items are scarce and you need to make choices. Then the choices will depend with the environmental or the condition at that particular time. And I give an example. If a country is in war, buying guns become essential than buying food. If a country is in peace, buying food become essential than buying food. So it brings what we call production possibility frontier. A curve showing maximum possibility combination of two goods given fixed resources and technology. I've also said that we have two major types of economics. We have a positive and a normative economics. Positive economics is fact-based. Normative economics involve value judgment about what is ought to be. And we have ended up with specialization. And we say that specialization is doing one particular item and mastering the concept in depth. And in this case, we are saying major benefits include efficiency, skill development, and efficient use of machinery. A limitation, we have said that specialization can bring monotony and job insecurity, interdependence, and reduce innovation. So basically that marks the end of the first topic in economics. We still have a long way to go, and I would encourage you to look for more. I will also share notes with you, perhaps that I will do tomorrow. Kindly, in case I don't send by 10 a.m., send a message to my WhatsApp, and then I will reshare the notes to you. Otherwise, that is the end of our second lesson and also the end of the first topic in economics. If you have a question, you can post it on the chat. Waiting to see if there's a question.